That's a good shot. First runs of the Test series to Clayton Lambert. He doesn't really have to run. Crashed it through extra cover to finish the first over at 4 for no wicket.
Playing a shot like that in the first over, really his front foot didn't get anywhere near the pitch of the ball and he just followed through. Fortunately, timed it perfectly. But really that's almost a shot of nerves, I would feel.
Rhodes, here's a chance. Now, will umpire Shepherd refer it? No. He's decided not to. In a moment, we'll see why.
Yes, he hasn't taken the ball cleanly, Adam Bacher. And just a nervous call, in fact. Lambert a bit late to react.
That's in the air, but away for 4. So the second over finishes as the first over did, with a boundary. West Indies 9 for no wicket.
One will do it, boys. One will do it. Hey, come on.
Better stride with the right foot. The right foot's got a long way to go. It's way outside leg stump because of the open stance. Long chase just kept the fielder interested for a long time, and Hansi Cronje eventually had to pulled away for 4 more. So all 3 of the overs bowled in this series so far have finished in an identical manner. 17 for no wicket, West Indies. There's that last ball again. Just a little bit short and unforgiving, this pitch. Not a lot of pace in it, not today. I think it might get a little quicker tomorrow and Saturday. But that just ended up as a long hop. Nearly ended up on his backside as well. But 4 runs was the result. Out for Boucher, Bowl Pollock. The first wicket of the series goes down. Flamboyant shot from Clayton Lambert, and Pollock strikes.
Well, no real movement of the feet here again, and going for that shot over the covers pays the penalty, and you just got the feeling that if someone could move the ball slightly away from Lambert with that open stance, he'd have him in trouble.
There was that feeling, wasn't there, all the time that a wicket might just fall purely. Struck away, wide mid-on. That's a good shot, but it did just indicate why Philo Wallace gets out LBW. 4 out of 5 Test innings. That's how he's pitched. Just a bit of width, and Wallace couldn't resist it, but not a convincing stroke. In the air, leaning back. That's beautifully bowled. The ball alone yet, which normally happens in the first half hour of a Test match. Out through his defence. The first defensive shot that Philo Wallace has played. And the stump flies out of the ground. West Indies 24 for 2. Chanderpaul, 31 Test matches, more experience, averaging 45. That's a pretty good Test average. Anybody averaging over 40 is doing pretty well over that many matches. Good shot from Lara, that'll be 4. Donald got quite excited for a moment. Maybe the slow motion replay will show us why.
Well, just a little bit over pitched and wide, but sometimes those are the most dangerous deliveries early on in a batsman's innings. He thinks his eyes light up, and sometimes it can induce the edge. But he hits it superbly well. Lovely shot.
I think it was the lack of feet movement that Alan Donald got excited about. Pulled away this time. There isn't a great deal of pace in this pitch. It's not often that Alan Donald gets pulled wide of mid-on.
So through the covers, 4 runs, just slightly over-pitched that time from Pollock, and Brian Lara seizing on it very quickly and hitting it just in front of square for 4.
Well, this is poetry, isn't it? And that length was just off, as Trevor has said. Beautiful balance, that high flourishing backlift. He just times it away to the square cover boundary. Loves that shot. That's a classic Brian Lara.
This one's through, though, between Simcox and Jonty Rhodes, and is 4. It was just a little too short and a little too wide. The width is what allowed Chanderpaul to swing the arm.
Wanted, and look at that. It almost looks the way he plays there. The bat's too heavy for him, such as the wristiness in the shot.
Bowled him! Bowled Lara. Sean Pollock strikes for the 3rd time on this first morning, and the West Indies are 41 for 3, and the big fish, Brian Lara, the West Indian captain, is gone, clean bowled by Pollock. What a sensational delivery, and Lara is out for 11.
That perfect length, and it just moved enough to beat the great man. Look how close he comes into the stumps. The ball, the seam, perfect. He should have gone forward more positively, didn't. Got an inside edge, nicked it onto the stumps, and away he goes. And South Africa is now right on top.
Carl Hooper comes to the wicket.
A man whose average is perhaps a little bit lower than his ability, but he's played 74 matches, and he has been one who has saved the West Indies on numerous occasions. Look at that top score, 178 not out, although it was 6 years ago.
Oh, and that's in the air, and it was dropped. It would have been a brilliant catch if he'd have been able to hold on to it. He just got a right hand to it. And that's the second one, in fact, that he's dropped off his own bowling. Philo Wallace was dropped second ball when he hit it back very, very hard indeed to Pollock. But you see how difficult it is for Pollock in his follow-through to change direction and to get enough hand on that for it to stick. This will go down to 3rd man for 4. Very attacking field with 3 slips and a gully. No 3rd man. So once it gets between the slips and the gully fielder, it's going to run down for 4.
Well played by Carl Hooper. You can see the soft hands that he's got, and he's learnt that by a lot of cricket in England, where you need that sort of a shot.
Again, he runs us down between 3rd slip and gully once more. Because there's no 3rd man, it goes to the boundary. And so the end of the 13th over, the 50 comes up on the board, 51 for 3. And once again, Chanderpaul moving across in front of his stumps. Gets it away just backward a square for a couple. And moves the total along to 53 for 3.
Oopsie, there's an appeal as well. And Carl Hooper, well, he probably would have got a silver medal. Well, so many runs are scored in that area in Test cricket simply because 3rd man really is a luxury. If you want to be attacking, you're going to have the 3 slips, and there's just no one. As a captain, you'd love to have 12 man in this situation.
Well, he's not given much away, Pollock. And even that. Oh, he's crashed that, but Rhodes, well, it did go straight to him, but he hit it very hard.
And you'll see if you notice where Jonty Rhodes actually picks this up. He's more or less pretty much in line with Gully, so he's very close to the bat, and that cuts down the angle.
There's nothing wrong with that shot. Straight through mid-off, over-pitched and beautifully played. 4 runs to Carl Hooper.
Well, I suppose the only place not to bowl to someone who's got a hamstring is full. But he does play a textbook style beautifully off the middle of the bat.
Well, I mean, he just continues to break records, Alan Donald. Whoa. Well, he's been punished through mid-wicket. The outfield is still a little soggy. The ball gets there.
Well, this delivery wasn't that short, Gerald, and he plays a pull shot almost off the front foot. And I just wonder if he isn't really, you know, I don't think it's out of character almost for Hooper to play a shot like that. Nothing wrong with the result, though.
Oh, he's gone for that one as well, and it'll go to the square leg boundary. And another big over for the West Indies as they go to 71 for 3 in 18. It's a cracking shot from Carl Hooper, and that'll go to the boundary. Philo Wallace, the runner, gets a little exercise, but Donald gets punished again.
Well, Carl Hooper has almost decided that with this injured hamstring, he's just going to play his shots, and so far it's working tremendously for him. And what do they say about a wounded animal? Sometimes at their most dangerous.
Big appeal. Well, umpire Shepherd isn't frightened to give people out on the front foot. We've seen that before. Let's have a look.
And this is one of David Tebrugge's best strengths. He nips them back, he nips them away, he does a little bit of both, and that really wasn't a bad shot. The bat hit the pad, but it didn't hit the ball first. So a very valid shot from David Tebrugge and the people behind the wickets.
It's a tremendous stop. I think that was a bump ball all the way. Although Donald threw his hands in the air, which confused me a little. There's a typical West Indian stroke, the back foot drive from a full delivery, and 4.
Well, the outfield immaculate, and no real difficulty for the ball getting there. 84 for 3 after 24.
It's well stopped.
Bit of jocularity from Hansie Cronje. Little dummy tackle at the runner, but only the second run of David Tebrugge, and this is of a slight misfield from Adam Bacher, who once again is called into action. There's Hansie giving him the little dummy.
Oh, that's nicely bowled. Now, did he completely commit himself to playing that, or did he just get that bat away at the last minute?
Well, this, I would guess, is the perfect line and length to a man like Chanderpaul. He goes that little shuffle, as you can see. It's good, and he played it. There's no debate he played it. That he tried to pull it away at the end, but miles too late.
Well, that was a loose stroke. I can't really say that was a good shot. No, it won't get to the boundary. Donald will haul it in. Well, that was a slog.
Well, there's a bit of confusion because of the runner. As often the case when the run isn't obvious and you've got a runner, the batsman himself almost wants to start for the run, and it causes all sorts of confusion. Good stop by Hansie Cronje at mid-on. That's smashed away on the offside. It, I think, will have the beating of Jonty Rhodes, and does go to the boundary rope. He's just got away through mid-wicket, and I think he's timed it well enough for it to go to the boundary. Indeed.
And that takes perfect timing, but also it takes a good wicket.
One good boundary in that over, and a wide, or no ball rather, 104 for 3. Brilliant, Jonty Rhodes. Interesting that the batsman, Carl Hooper, has gone and had a word with his runner, Philo Wallace. This is well driven past Simcox, and the mid-off has gone a good deal squarer because of Simcox being in there, and they're able to get 3 runs.
Through the gap behind point, Jonty Rhodes beaten for a change, but he will get there as usual. Mark Boucher does the tidying up.
Bit of width and runs immediately on his decision to go around the wicket.
Well, this is Chanderpaul's strength. He's a very patient young man. He's only 24 years old.
Oh, well bowled.
Well, yet another occasion in which he beats a batsman well set. Just slightly more angled, that one. He came from almost a sidearm delivery.
Oh, we'll get runs through mid-on in the most unconventional fashion. It's going to be 4.
Well, it was unconventional. It was almost a slog. We saw a Hooper stroke like that earlier, and it was almost as though the frustration is getting to these.
Oh, he's got it through. Rhodes might, and does. Brilliant.
Absolutely superb. Well supported by Jacques Kallis, who manages to pick it up and throw it in. 3 runs come from that, sorry, 2 runs come from the shot which angled away. He plays that shot so nicely, and one wonders whether it wouldn't be more sensible to have a 3rd man anyway. Look at that brilliant effort. Lovely little stroke this. You can see he loves that push through the mid-wicket area. He's done it once before and got a very good 4. This time only 2.
Donald around the wicket. Oh, well, he'll get 4 runs, and that is bad luck for Alan Donald.
Well, you know that anything short and wide, the West Indies are going to take a go at, and they've done it on several occasions today, and they've got runs in this area at 3rd man. There he goes, flashes it away. It was in the air for a period of time, but no 3rd man, and one begins to wonder whether Hansie should not consider putting a man back there.
Oh, he's put him down. Now, who is it? I don't believe it. It's Jonty Rhodes. Now, how crucial could this be?
Well, he's such a good player of spin, and off spin in particular. And I think Jonty will be kicking himself now.
Out, caught Cullinan, it slipped. Donald makes the breakthrough, having had an indifferent time with the ball to date. He makes what might just be a vital breakthrough, and no one more relieved than Jonty Rhodes, because it's Hooper that's gone, and Rhodes had put him down. in the previous over, so not a costly miss.
Well, the difference here is that Alan Donald is suddenly just struck on a rhythm, and he's getting a little bit of shape. He swings it away, gets the movement away, and trying to drive on the up, and he gets the edge.
Must be said, that was a poor shot from Hooper, trying to hit the ball on the up. Just as David Richardson was describing, it's not a good shot to play, especially if the ball is leaving you. But Hooper, brave innings of 44, hampered with an injury, finally goes. Caught Cullinan, bowled Donald. West Indies now, 132. So everyone in Johannesburg thinks that's out, but it isn't. Kirsten, the fielder.
It's the first time Gary Kirsten's been on camera today.
Pulled away by Williams. There is a man back there. He's not right back, Adam Bacher. He's sort of 35 metres from the bat. That's beautifully stroked through the covers, and that'll take Chanderpaul to his 50 and the first of the series.
Applause from his teammates, and well deserved, because it's been workmanlike. He's watched the ball closely, and he's hit some good shots in between some dogged defence. And that's the second drive that he's played off the back foot, real calypso, traditional calypso style.
How late he hits the ball. It's very full. He lets it arrive under his eyes. His weight almost back, but coming forward as he stroked the ball. Swept that away. Fine. That's a long chase for Pollock. Beg your pardon. It's De Brugge. And that's nicely stroked away. I don't know whether it'll get to the boundary. It seems to be almost gaining on the fielder now. Cronje hauls it in. So just 2 to Williams.
And Williams comes down the wicket, goes over the top. He didn't quite get hold of it. The ball comes up short of the boundary. They're able to get 2 runs, but showing some aggressive intent there. Beat the first man, but not the mid-off, who's deeper. Nice looking cover drive there. Wideish mid-off, can get around and cut it off in quite spectacular style. Alan Donald, but they do get a single. Well, he goes for the shot again. This time he brings it off. Brilliant fielding once more by Jonty Rhodes at backward point. Ooh, well, he once again fell for the temptation.
Well, if he survives this over, he will get a blast when he gets back into the dressing room. If he doesn't, he better turn and walk the other way, because this is a last over before tea. He's playing some getting out shots there. There's no way he could have got hold of that. That was too high for him to go for the hook shot.
Intact at 157 for 4.
It's nicely played, nicely timed. Rhodes in pursuit. He'll have to get his little slide in. He does. Just the 2. That's nicely timed, and that will go for 4. It's a good shot from Williams. It's a good shot from Williams. The on drive is always so pleasing to watch, just as that was.
Directed, and it ends up going straight to mid-on.
Well bowled, Simo.
Beautiful length And a beautiful line Pat Simcox has bowled to the right-handers when he has had that opportunity. Got a pretty good length and line to the left-hander as well, but that's just perfect. Swept away, and one wonders whether that deep backward square leg isn't too fine. It's beautifully played shot, but I just get the feeling that is that Alan Donald down.
That shot makes him look a little bit fine, but it's very well hit. Often you don't get that much bat on the sweep shot, especially when there's a bit of turn. It's not that easy to hit it as square as that.
Flighted, driven. 4. Flurry of runs here from Stuart Williams.
Well, this really is a lovely shot. Pat Simcox being hit for the boundary, and double bluff gives it a bit of air. But Williams doesn't commit himself too soon. He's able to get out to the pitch, and he places it beautifully.
It's his prowess off the back foot. Nothing wrong with that shot. Nothing wrong with that bit of fielding either. There's Gary Kirsten on camera again.
He must have been very upset when I retired, because I was the only person he could beat in a 50-meter sprint. He's now about comfortably the slowest in the team.
In the air and out. Tabruka strikes for the first time in Test cricket. The whole team run to congratulate him, and does he deserve it? He's bowled beautifully. Williams goes.
Well, he's batted so well, and now you can realize maybe why he only does average 24, 25. He's played well up to 30 and then gets out, and they battle to average over 30 if you're going to get out often in the 30s or 40s.
But
Got one ball left.
just he better beat him for pace. He was just too late on that. 177 for 5.
Big shot for LBW here. Umpire Cyril Mitchley walks away. Was there bat there again? We'll have to have a close look at that. With the naked eye, it looked a very good shot.
Oh, that looked stone dead unless there was a nick. 178 for 5.
Well, there was bat there for sure, but was it pad first and then bat? This is nicely played into the covers. That'll be 2. Shandapur moves to 58. Nicely driven by Shandapur. Won't go to the boundary. Mid-off is after it. They've got 2. Thoughts of a third. But it won't be. Concedes another one here as it's pushed out into the covers. A little bit short there, and packed away nicely by Shandapur. Get 2 runs.
One.
Tapped away on the onside. Oh, and a direct hit here. And what is umpire Dave Shepherd? He's going to ask Rudy Koetsen to have a look at this. And what is going to be the reaction of the South African players? It's difficult to tell whether they think they've got their man. I think it's going to be a desperately close call, this one.
Oh, extremely good pick up and throw. They're so fast, wasn't it? And it was almost as though Jake was slowed down. And it is really, really close. Good fielding by Jacques Kallis. Certainly worth another look and see it from the other angle. Now look at that, bounces beautifully.
Well, you see, it's just before it hits the stump there, and the bat is on the line, and the batsman's safe. That's 4 runs. Finds the gap nicely between Gully and Jonty Rhodes at backward point. And he starts with a fiery delivery to Ridley Jacobs. LBW must be fine delivery there from Alan Donald. An inspired bowling change from Hansi Cronje, and Alan Donald at last has trapped Chanderpaul. He's the one the South Africans wanted. A very well played 74 from the little West Indian, but palpably LBW there to Alan Donald. And it was a pretty fast delivery.
Extremely fast ball this, and it seemed to keep a little bit low. He went back as he's done so often today, and this time he didn't get the bat in the road. The ball hitting him halfway up the pad, and away he goes. He spent a long time there, 271 minutes, 210 balls, hit those 10 beautiful fours, but in the end he has been dismissed, and South Africa are back on top.
This is Nixon McLean.
He certainly felt that. Nixon McLean had a great start on this tour. 25, only 5 test matches, and a high score of 11. Still a long way to go. We'll get some runs here straight down the ground. Brugger doing the chasing. Brings the 200 up after 73 overs. He's gone for the drive, and he's got it away down towards deep mid-off and gets 4 runs. Won't be totally discouraged, Pat Simcox.
No, but his intentions are clear. It's up there, and it's a full swing of the bat.
Well, there's appeal. Not out.
Well, my immediate reaction was that's out, but the batsman immediately pointed to his forearm. I'm not sure he's allowed to do that. And I'm afraid I think that is out. Or should have been.
Certainly deflection there upwards, isn't it? And Donald was convinced. Umpire Shepherd not. Have a look from this angle. Could have been the forearm. That I don't know about, though.
Well, he's got away with it. Well, you never know. That angle now, it looks as if he was right.
Well, he might have wanted to walk that last one now, he might think. No. It's beautifully bowled, though.
Great bowling. Who would have thought after those 2 previous deliveries that the next one would be a slower ball? Very similar action, very difficult to pick, and he was right through on the shot. Only really by fortune that it didn't carry to mid-off.
Beautifully bowled, and hit that one and got it away. Well, that is cruel luck for Alan Donald. Of knowing which end to throw, his back was turned.
He relies on somebody shouting it, telling him bowler's end or wherever. But Nixon McLean's got long legs and he covered the ground pretty quickly.
Short. And some exercise for Rhodes. He's hit that in the air, but safe. They were looking for a third, but some clever fielding by Cronje, who almost slows down as he gets to the ball but then whips in the throw very quickly, prevents the third. Oopsie.
They were just all at sea against the short pitched.
Oh, that is a beautiful delivery. And not the prettiest shot in the world from Nixon McLean. I think is obviously in a bit of pain and upset.
Yes, clearly unsettled by Alan Donald's aggressive approach towards him. It's not so easy when you're a big guy sometimes to duck and get under those short pitch deliveries.
Come off the pad. Two-leg buys. Catch? No. Bit optimistic, but he's not dealing with this the line of attack at all well. Oh, he's got something on that, and it's going to go very fine. And that slides off the outside half of the bat, and it's going to bring him 4 runs.
Pulled away. More important runs, and that's a good chase from Donald. Tremendous chase. Good stuff.
He's bowled 18 overs today, but hasn't dulled his enthusiasm with that incredible effort.
Nicely timed. Rhodes will chase, and I think we'll get there with the slide. Yes.
Another good fielding effort.
Cullis pulled away to mid-on and out. Well, I was looking in the wrong direction for a moment. I was looking to mid-wicket, but it went to mid-on. Cronje takes the catch one-handed, and Cullis gets his name on the scoreboard.
Well, wasn't that casual? When Hansie Cronje started to move backwards towards the ball, I got the feeling he thought it was way over his head. And then he just put up that right hand. Even the cameraman got a little bit fooled. But he puts up a right hand, and away goes Jacobs for 14. He spent a long time there, and he really performed a useful function. Be the newcomer who just arrived today, Raul Lewis.
There's a hook shot straight over the keeper for. Very frustrating for anybody who bowls a bouncer. Very satisfying for a tail ender who feels that it's actually really not his job to have them flying around his nose.
Look at them walking forward.
Slower ball.
That means that Alan Donald had signalled it.
That's the second day's play.
Here's the first ball of the second day of this first test match, and it's stroked nicely enough down to a deepish mid-off. And this really is quite interesting. Again, same shot, same fielder. Tony Cozier, are you a bit surprised to see Simcox bowling first up?
Well, good morning, Trevor, and good morning to everyone. In fact, I think everyone would be surprised that Pat Simcox gets a ball which is just 10 overs old for the first over of the day when you've got Pollock and Donald in your side.
A slip, a forward short leg, and a short mid-wicket are the attacking fieldsmen, as it were. It's the short mid-wicket that does the fielding there. And Simcox starts with the maiden, first over of the day. Being the main strike bowler, of course, Alan Donald has most often the right to pick which side he would want to bowl from, and he prefers to bowl from the golf course end. So to get him down that end, this is in the air and might be a catch, or it might... Oh, he's dropped it. Gary Kirsten down there at fine leg, and he doesn't drop many, and Alan Donald won't be amused.
Well, he had plenty of time to sight it. It went very high in the air. No problems for him. He gets there, both hands to it, and really should have held on. That's a straightforward catch for any deep fielder.
Oh, that was a nasty one. That, I think that was helmet or visor. Made a nasty sound.
Well, he's been hit on the inside of the thigh by Donald and hasn't shown any sort of reaction. He's been now cracked on the helmet, and again Nixon McLean stands up straight and takes it.
Yeah, that was right on the scone, as they say. And he's caught, is he? Yes, must be. Well, that was good bowling by Sean Pollock. He softened up his man, and then he produced one that looked like the slower ball well up to the batsman, and he was reaching and feeling for it. Got the edge and carried through to Mark Boucher, and Nixon McLean is out. The first wicket of the second day has fallen.
Perhaps he should have just taken a little time to compose himself after that blow in the helmet, but he was ready for Pollock very, very quickly, and that's outstanding fast bowling. Pollock's fourth wicket, and McLean, a good innings by him, gone for 28. Caught Boucher, bowled Pollock. It's 255 for 8.
Curtly Ambrose is the new batsman after the dismissal of Nixon McLean. Oh, that might have been caught. It's going to run away down towards the third man boundary. Gary Kirsten trying to get round there, cut it off, but I think it is 4 runs. It is indeed, and this will be interesting to see. It went between wicketkeeper and slip, first slip. I think it might have been Boucher's catch. In all fairness to all and sundry, it dropped short. Boucher did very well to try and save it.
Very awkward indeed for both keeper and slip.
Appeal for LBW, but I think we'll find that might have been going down the leg side.
Courtney Walsh is quite happy to get to the non-striker's end. Ball which went through him a while ago seemed to die, and that's the one that brought the appeal. You can see going down the leg side there.
Is he caught? He is. That's the end of the innings. Well, Ron Lewis again tries to have a go at Alan Donald, and he succeeds in pulling it from well outside the off stump straight into the hands of mid-on, and the West Indies innings has come to an end with the addition of only 12 runs from their overnight situation, and the South Africans have wrapped it up as they were hoping to do.
Really should have cut that. Had to drag it from a long way outside the off stump. Hit it pretty well, but found mid-on. But he had to drag it from far too wide, as he did with the previous one. Cut shot may have been the better option. But he goes for 12. Useful innings by Ron Lewis. The West Indies, disappointingly, all out now for 261.
So South Africa doing a very good job in just over half an hour of the second morning. Wrapping up the West Indies innings, taking the last 3 wickets, but just 12 runs added by the West Indies. McLean taking his score from 23 to 28. Ambrose a duck, and Lewis, the last man out, caught by Tabrugga at mid-on off Donald for 12. 261 all out. thanks mainly to the partnership between Chanderpaul and Hooper of 91, and then Chanderpaul and Williams putting on 45. A few useful ones down the order, but the innings folding very quickly on the second morning. Mainly due to some tremendous bowling again from Sean Pollock, who got those first 3 wickets at the start of the test match, and adding 2 more to take 5 for 54 from 23. Donald took the last wicket. Good support from Cullis, Tebrooker and Simcox.
Off the mark. Always a nice feeling.
Well, Gary Kirsten wanted the run, and Adam Bacher very correctly sending him back. The gully was roaring around there, and there was certainly no chance of a run. But the height of the West Indian bowlers, and he slips, but there's no real difficulty because he was only a couple of meters down. Another good stroke, hits it into mid-wicket. Nobody there, as Robin pointed out earlier, so there's at least 2 and probably 3. 3 it will be.
This is Walsh. It's a good shot from Kirsten. That is his strong area. He normally hits it just a little more backward of square, which will indicate the pace of the pitch, but the first boundary for the South Africans.
Yes, Robin has seen Gary Kirsten as much as anybody, and he will know that Gary Kirsten, when he hits the ball like this, he's playing well, because when he doesn't, his bottom hand comes in a bit much and he hits it backward of square, sort of inside out, as it were. Here, look at that beautiful stroke in front of square, and that will give him enormous confidence.
That's a tremendous delivery and out. Well, that levels it. Courtney Walsh now catches Malcolm Marshall as the highest wicket taker of all time. Disappointment for Adam Bacher, and the West Indies have struck.
Yes, a brilliant delivery. Adam Bacher's feet not really in the right line, but look there, it's straightened on him and in fact left him a little bit. The wicketkeeper getting his first catch, and David Shepherd having no real problems in giving that one out. So Adam Bacher leaves for 1, and the South Africans score 10 for 1.
New man in, Jacques Cullis.
You got 2 left.
South Africa's number 3, established himself in that position now.
That's runs. So 3 to Gary Kirsten. He's hit that well for nothing, and he gets back. It's beautifully picked up by Walsh.
That's unlucky because it was a good shot, full face of the bat, and
He really hit it crisply and sweetly. Look at Courtney Walsh. Fantastic. Look at that. Behind his back, switches from left hand to right, underhands the ball in. I think he would have been home if it hit the stumps anyway, but terrific hand-eye coordination. Oof. That is fantastic shot from Jacques Cullis. Second ball from Nixon McLean, and punished.
yes, I'm not, just a long hop really. I'm not quite sure that he intended to drop it short. If he did, it didn't get up as much as he would have liked, and Jacques Cullis had plenty of time.
Oh, it's got through him, and 4 runs. Well, there's a perfect illustration. He finally gets one to be in sort of vaguely the right area.
Normally you find when the batsman plays or gets beaten like that, it's the extra pace that beats him more than anything. And that came back quite sharply at a fair pace. Fortune favours Jacques Cullis on this occasion.
Yes, that did nip back. And well hit, nice and straight. And the chase from Ambrose, 2 runs.
Nixon McLean is the man operating from the corner drive in, and this is played away very nicely, backward of square on the onside, perfectly timed, and it raced away to the boundary.
Quite an interesting approach here from Jacques Kallis. He really hasn't played a single defensive shot against Nixon McLean. He's obviously trying to assert his dominance. This was a really good cricket shot.
This is turned away again nicely on the onside through the mid-wicket area. Backward square leg chases. They've got 2. And so 6 runs from the over. South Africa 36 for 1. This is a beautiful shot, but Chanderpaul equal to the occasion in the covers. Tremendous stop from him.
Yes, he's been in the gully earlier on, now moving in front of square. Look at that. That was the best goalkeeper save you could see.
Short and cracked away for 4 runs. Just in front of square. Gary Kirsten very quick onto that.
There's nothing better for a batsman than to be able to hook a quick bowler, and specifically one of such class as Courtney Walsh, in front of square. Look at that position. Gary Kirsten is certainly looking in awesome form.
Oh, and that was clever bowling from Courtney Walsh. It's one of the oldest tricks in the game, is to move the short leg back onto the boundary at square leg, set the trap, and then bowl a Yorker or a very full delivery. And that's exactly what Walsh did there, and it caught Gary out.
It's the second time. It's the only time that Gary Kirsten, in fact, has looked a little bit shaky, is on that slower ball.
Soft hands again, all the way along the ground past the 3rd slip, and that backward point tidies up. 2 runs though to Gary Kirsten, so 6 runs again from that over. 43 for 1. This is nicely driven through the covers. Beautiful shot by Jacques Kallis, and it's gone for 4.
Once again, McLean tried to conduct the double bluff and had the man out there, and Brian Lara was moving him around. Then he tried to dig it in and bowl a Yorker, but he didn't get it quite right. Instead it was a half volley. Jacques Kallis played it beautifully because it was leaving him off the seam as he played, but look at the extension of the bat through the ball, and that cut off any movement off the seam, and he got a beautiful boundary. South Africa moving on to 47 for 1, and he's, as you can see, got 21 of them.
A little lap shot from Jacques Kallis, and he'll be able to get 2 for it. Backward square leg has to run away to his right. Nice bit of fielding, brings up the 50. Appeal for LBW here, and umpire Mitchley says no. I think
very important. Just watch the line from which Nixon McLean is coming. First important thing is he's about in the middle, and it was short, therefore the ball had to pitch outside leg stump. And this is one of the reasons fast bowlers go around the wicket to left-handers, because it was a good delivery. It beat the bat, and that there was no chance of the LBW.
That's a good shot, nicely timed. I don't think it'll get all the way. No, it'll just be 2. That's nicely played. That will go for 4. That's a superb shot.
He knows the man is back behind square. He doesn't try and hit it too hard. It's just a short arm jab through mid-wicket, but he's perfectly positioned for the shot.
Nicely into line. 61 for 1. It's a good shot. That will get there, I think. There's a chase for extra cover. He might haul it in. And, oh, a bit clumsily, but he does it. And saves an extra run. It's only 3.
In fact, I'm not so sure that the field is not indicating 4 to the umpire.
Well, isn't that nice to see? Shepherd wasn't looking around, wasn't looking to ask. And they, as I say, a bit clumsily, and there, he just touches the rope with his toe. He then throws it in. He signals to umpire Shepherd. Shepherd signals 4, and then Shepherd himself just gave the fielder a gesture as if to say thank you very much indeed. Oh, what a good delivery. There's appeal for LBW here, and I think it's quite a good appeal.
Well, that's the classic one. Pitching around about off stump, straightening. And really, that's close. That's very close. It's going to shave the off stump, if anything. Benefit of the doubt going to Jacques Kallis.
That's 4. Classic cut shot from Kallis.
Yes, if he hasn't got the googly, then as a batsman, what you're looking to do against the leg spinner, anything slightly short, you want to be quickly onto the cut and take full advantage of it.
That's runs.
Good shout. Very close, but umpire Cyril Mitchley unmoved and characteristically sort of turns away. There's the sweep, and it was straight.
It's a good shot.
Well, once again, Gary Kirsten, I think you can see when Gary Kirsten is playing well is when he hits the ball nicely straight through the covers. This again was a shot which went in front of square. 76 for 1.
Oh, that's a beautiful delivery. The edge will run down towards the boundary, but not all the way. That pitched outside leg.
And I think there were 2 sounds. I mean, you could hear Cyril saying pitched outside leg, a long way outside leg. No, missed his bat for sure. Just 2 sounds that hit both legs.
Full toss, and that'll bring Jacques Kallis 4 runs and take him to within 3 of a half century. Not missing out, cannot let those sort of balls go by without being punished, and he does so here.
Yeah, that again looked as though it was the top spinner coming out of the back of the hand. Watch if you can see, and this is what Jacques Kallis would have seen, and he didn't need to look too much because it was a full toss.
Whoopsie! My goodness, that just took off the glove.
Now that was a brilliant piece of bowling. It was a much quicker ball which made Jacques Kallis think it was short. Then it fizzed through, got the glove, and he was lucky not to be caught. End of the over, 85 for 1.
It's Walsh to Kallis. And that's Kallis's half century. Just over 2 hours he's been batting Jacques Kallis, and acknowledges the generous applause from around the ground with a wave of the bat. Well, that's hit beautifully in the middle of the bat for Gary Kirsten, and that should reach the boundary. No, well, it would have. It's a good chase by Wallace, and a huge throw. 94 for 1. Good shot.
Gary Kirsten, and this might well run away to the boundary. Down at third man. Does indeed.
Well, that must be a little bit frustrating for Lewis, because he's tossed it up into that rough outside the left-handers off stump, and it hasn't gone exactly where Gary Kirsten has aimed, but it's gone away for 4.
Yes, he's... Gary Kirsten decides to open his shoulders. It's in the air, but fielder could not get underneath it, and he gets away with it. A miscue by Gary Kirsten. He's caught. He's caught at second slip. Very good catch indeed. Just thrown away, and Jacques Kallis is the second South African wicket to go down. He's gone for 53. It's 102 for 2 now.
Just a bit of extra bounce from Courtney Walsh, and that's why he has become the leading West Indian wicket taker. A brilliant catch by Williams at second slip, moving low to his right.
Well, it's normally Carl Hooper that is at second slip. Brian Lara is at the first slip position, but with Carl Hooper off the field, Daryl Cullinan strides to the wicket at the demise of Jacques Kallis, who was batting so well on 53 and was brilliantly caught by Stuart Williams at second slip. So he just whacks it away for 4.
Well, I was starting to mention earlier how Cullinan could be a crucial part of the South African batting in this series, more for the fact that he can play the quicker men as well as anybody.
And here he's got another one away. This might not quite reach the boundary. Chanderpaul is chasing hard after it. They're going to get 3. Said Walsh. At Cullinan, is he caught down the leg side? No, says up. Oh, he's given him out. It took a long while. I think he was waiting for Cullinan to walk, which he didn't do, and then umpire Shepherd said, no mate, I know you've hit it, on your way, and Walsh strikes again.
Well, I think the slow motion replay will show that this was the correct decision, and if you notice Shepherd's umpire Shepherd's arm, it came out initially, then he thought, you know, he was a bit undecided, and finally I think was turned by the reaction of the West Indian fielders. But you see quite clearly here that I think this comes off the face of the bat, and a good decision in the end.
Well, the crowd watching on the big electronic scoreboard don't think it was out, but we'll look at it again in a moment. Nelson has struck 1-1-1 for 3. The captain, Hansie Cronje, comes to the wicket.
It's a good shot from Kirsten. He timed it nicely. I think it'll go all the way for 4. No, ball almost slowed up as I said that, so 2 more to Kirsten. He's begun to find the middle of the bat a bit more often just recently. 116 for 3.
Through. Always 4 once it past the fielder.
Courtney Walsh just affording Kirsten a little bit too much width there, and it's not a half volley by any means, but he's able to let the arms flow, let the arms and the bat get away from his body, and he's been there long enough to be able to middle it. Kirsten on 49. Make that 50. It's been a good solid innings from Gary Kirsten. He worked hard through a period when it wasn't all going for him, and deservedly gets the applause of this Wanderers crowd.
Just a couple of fault shots, twice against Lewis. He hoiked him, or tried to hoik him, from outside the off stump. Once he missed and it went past the keeper, the googly, and then he just managed to clear mid-on with a skied miss hit. But apart from those, He's been very solid indeed. Typical Gary Kirsten innings.
That's a good shot. Down the ground, no one's going to fetch. Oh, yes, they are. Every time I say it's going to go for 4, the ball slows up and it's almost stopped. Just rests up against the rope. So it is 4 to Cronje. And a very fine stroke indeed. A good straight drive. 129 for 3. Nice timing. Good balance. Kirsten wanted 3, and his captain said no, and his captain was right. He's got that away as well. That might go all the way. Yes, it will. So Kirsten beginning to stride forward now since he went past his 50. And the end of quite an expensive over. 135 now for 3.
Starts with a full toss and it's smashed away for 4. Manna from heaven for Hansi Cronje that. He's a good player of spin bowling, and this is quite a brave move to bowl Lewis to him, but anybody might have been able to dispatch that for 4.
Yes, certainly Hansi Cronje didn't bother to get his feet into too much of a position. He just stood up and whacked it through the covers into the gap.
And this will be at least 3 of them.
Brilliant running there by Hansi Cronje. He knew there was a chance, and unfortunately for Gary, it wasn't cold runs. We heard a nick, we heard the sound, and you can see him glancing up at Cyril Mitchley. I wonder whether he did get a touch on this. No, he didn't. It was the pad, quite thick onto the pad, so the right decision by Cyril, and that's possibly why it also never carried to the boundary. 3 leg byes.
This is a cheeky single. Nicely played by Gary Kirsten, away through mid-wicket. This is racing away towards the boundary, seemingly almost gathering pace there. That's how well he timed it.
Well, Gary Kirsten has been particularly solid today, and if there's one particular shot that he's played well, it's this one. He's getting in so well into position for it. He times it well, and as Trevor has just said, he didn't really hit it at all, but the timing was so good that it raced away for 4.
He's out. Oh dear, that's a bit unfortunate for Gary Kirsten. It wasn't a particularly good delivery. He looked as though he was going to guide it away backward of square on the offside, but it must have got the bottom edge and down into the stumps, and Gary Kirsten is out.
Yes, we can't really say bad luck, because he's played this shot a couple of times and has looked fairly vulnerable, and here he goes again, playing it across the line, pushing your bottom hand through, but nevertheless unlucky, because as he drops his bat in dismay at the ball hitting the stumps, it bounced down. It could so easily have missed the stumps, and this very, very valuable innings of 62 ends with Gary Kirsten, and the score 154 for 4.
Cry of support from the crowd for the arrival of Jonty Rhodes, ever popular. There he goes. It doesn't often deter him, the leg spin, and he gets this one away nicely, but there's also a man on the boundary at backward square leg, so he only gets a single. He was thinking of coming back for the second, for the throw. He's that quick that he can often beat the throw, but he slipped at the end of the pitch.
Yes, I don't have too many doubts as that he would have gone for the second run, but whoops, there he goes.
This is going to go away through the covers. It seemed as though there was some pad there first and then the bat. So it must have just flicked the pad and then come onto the middle of the bat, because he gets 3 runs for it.
His pads have got a very good meat on them. But if you watch this closely here, it was a half shot for LBW as the ball comes in, hits the pad first and then very firmly onto the pad. 3 runs.
Grows, and that's a full toss, and dispatched to the boundary, just as it should be. Good shot, full toss, but they still got to be put away. Rhodes does it well.
Take it!
Inches away from a diving Lewis. It just seemed, the ball seemed to stay in the air for so long. They'll look for 2 and get it comfortably. If he gets that past him, he'll get a couple, but he doesn't. That's well fielded, and just tweaked a shoulder there. Cronje's turn to get the sweep in. The man isn't there for Hansi Cronje, so he's able to get 2. He moves on to 25, and the score to 183 for 4. That's nicely timed. These 2 very quick between the wickets. Oh, that might be out. It is, yes. Nixon McLean strikes. Bit of pace, full of length. Rhodes caught on the back foot, and I don't think much doubt about that.
Well, you said it, Robin. I think the secret here is that the pace beat him, caught on the back foot, hasn't got time to come forward again, caught on the crease. Bit of movement back at the right-hander, make sure that he misses it. And I'm afraid Jonty's gone for 17.
South Africa now, 185 for 5.
Yeah.
Sean Pollock, 25 years old, 26 matches. Just 5 runs off 1,000 runs in Test cricket, averaging 32, pretty useful, coming in at number 7. It's a long chase for mid-on. He'll haul it in though, and good running by Hansi Cronje. Good cricket all round.
No one.
His second run.
This is Curtly Ambrose, and Curtly Ambrose bowling from the Call It Drive end. What happened to this one?
What Trevor has just said about the break almost came true, in that Hansi Cronje has to start again. His feet didn't move all that well first ball.
Again, there is, I think, some bat there. There was an appeal, certainly. The ball went along the ground, but I think they might have felt that there was some pad first. I'll have to have a look. Certainly he's now looking less confident than he was before the break.
Well, there was a shot, and yet it didn't even seem to touch the pad. It was the outside edge of the bat. Once again, no carry in the delivery, and what a face. I think he should go for the Oscar there. There's so much pain in that expression.
Nicely played through mid-wicket. Mid-on has to go and retrieve it. There's time for 2. And those 2 runs take Sean Pollock past 1,000 runs in Test match cricket. That's always a good milestone to get to. Average of 32, not bad for a fast bowler. That's not a very good shot at all by Shaun Pollock. A rush of blood there, and he gets away with it. He gets a single. It brings up the 200. And he was a bit lucky. It's not a good shot. Ends the over. 200 for 5. No ball called. Don't know whether it would have changed the shot, but he certainly had a go at that. Gets a glare from Courtney Walsh. Big appeal here for LBW, but I think there were two noises, and one of them might have been bat. And Curtly Ambrose knows that if it hadn't been for that, I think it was all over. Good bowling.
Shaun Pollock's looking a little unsettled. Fine bowling, of course, a bouncer, and then this one right up in the block hole. Thick edge, and once again, the toe end of it.
Field for LBW again. I think it might have been going down the leg side. The leg by. This is good bowling by Walsh.
Classic over. Really fine bowling.
This is Ambrose now. Another good delivery. It played well, though, by Shaun Pollock. It was the attempted Yorker, but he dug it out well and got some timing on it, too. And as a result of it, he's been able to get 3 runs straight back past the bowler. Hansie Cronje has come for the run. Pollock sent him back. Unfortunately, there was plenty of time for Hansie to come to a halt and get back, which is an indication that there was probably a run there anyway. Down to third man. Just be the one for Shaun Pollock. So he will keep the strike at the end of that over. 207 for 5. That's nicely played. Just backward of the square leg umpire for a single. Courtney Walsh, who's taken more first-class wickets than any other player that is involved. 1,625, an average of 21.9. The healthy haul of 106 wickets in the English county game, of course, helped him. Alan Donald second. So the end of the over, 208 for 5.
Ooh, now how close was that to rolling onto the stumps? Seen it happen once already, like Gary Kirsten got out in this fashion.
Yes, Ambrose has really been disciplined in this spell. He hasn't wavered at all from perfect line and length, just short of a length, just on about, just outside the off stump.
Oh no, that is not a very good shot. Shaun Pollock, he actually had a strange innings for him. He normally plays with a very straight bat, but that's not the first time he's played that stroke, and he must be kicking himself. Courtney Walsh isn't.
Well, I don't know how much of this wicket you can attribute to Ambrose as well. Ambrose has tied Shaun Pollock down. He hasn't given him anything to hit, and very similar to delivery to the one that nearly caused his dismissal earlier, sees the end of Shaun Pollock. 209 for 6. Pollock gone for 11.
Mark Boucher, 21 years old, highest score of 78, so pleasant memories of this particular ground. That was in that magnificent record-breaking stand with Uncle Pat Simcox. This time Cronje pulls the ball away through mid-wicket in a controlled manner, one must add. That's nicely timed. It'll be a chase for cover point, but he won't catch it up. That's a good stroke from Hansi Cronje.
Just that little bit of width offered. Cronje takes full advantage, though. He actually times this pretty well. Sparing dive from Chandrapur.
That squared him up, but he's got runs here. Probably two. Two it is. Bouncer, little look from Walsh.
He's got those eyes that can give you quite a meaningful look as well. Sylvester Clark also had similar type of glare.
Imagine if Muralitharan was a quick bowler. Umpires are getting together. Sun has sort of gone down behind the stadium, as it were. We can see the main the electronic scoreboard is still lit up in sunshine, but in the middle, not good, and that might well be it for the day. It's been offered. Boucher and Cronje are happy to go. Sun shines on the stand on the far side of the ground, but where they're actually playing, the light would obviously be as it was when they last went off, I would say, and that's probably what Brian Lara is asking Cyril Mitchley. Probably saying to me,
absolutely perfectly balanced, and we're really in for a fantastic day's cricket. Let's take a look then at the highlights of the third day.
Courtney Walsh, but here he is with the first ball of the third day to Mark Boucher. Now that's got past mid-on, be more than one here. Certainly three, but it is in fact four.
Yes, well played from Mark Boucher. It's a full toss for sure, but he does well to guide it past mid-on. It's the end of the over, 223 for 6.
Was the last ball.
Yes, Nixon McLean in this over, just straying a couple of times now down that leg side. Always an element of luck that this goes fine enough, the leg glance. When you get the boundary, you can't intentionally play it as fine as that.
Ball.
Bowled.
Good work, Ann.
One thing about Boucher, he's always very positive in his movements at the wicket, generally.
That's in the air and out. Top edge. It was an unnecessary shot, really. We're just 3 overs away from a new ball. It's always a risk, especially against the leg spinner. Off spinner, not such a risk. And Boucher perishes.
Yes, sometimes habits of one-day cricket creep into the test match game. And as you said, Robin, probably not the best shot to play in this situation. Always a chance that the top edge might come into play. Leg spinner playing against the spin.
So South Africa now 229 for 7. Boucher out for 12. Tremendous roar from the crowd as Pat Simcox comes into bat. Oh, that's well bowled. Now that's interesting. He's given it not out. There was cries of catch it to start with. If he didn't nick it, did it hit the pad?
Well,
If so, was it straight?
Definitely a noise, Robin. And initially I thought maybe it didn't carry to the keeper, but I think it just bounced.
Check whether he hit it first. Yep, looks like he might have got a little scratch on that. Not out, says umpire Shepherd, and over 230 for 7. Out, inside edge, back onto the off stump. And that is a big breakthrough for the West Indies. Cronje goes, and now I think they might take the new ball.
Well, this is a crucial blow for the West Indies, and Hansie Cronje must be devastatingly disappointed because he's grafted hard, and I'm sure he would have liked to push on with another 20 or 30 himself. But Ambrose rewarded for some extremely accurate bowling throughout this innings. He's out for 41, and South Africa now 230 for 8.
Alan Donald makes his way to the middle, and he knows that not every delivery is going to be in his half. And a huge appeal. I thought I heard the ball at the stumps. No? Did well to get forward, first up. Good bowling too, full length.
Good bowling, and what saves him is that I think he manages to get just outside the line of the off stump, and you actually do hear umpire Cyril Mitchley explaining that to the bowler.
Just in the air a moment, but past the short leg, Philo Wallace, and they're able to get 2 runs. Oh, that's a nasty one. This is the problem for somebody like Alan Donald, who's not really equipped to face up to this sort of thing. Great fast bowlers with, of course, the new ball, and the danger for South Africa is that he might have hurt that bowling hand.
Yes, he's really in a bad position, and it got on the end of the fingers. Now we're seeing a lot of batsmen these days wearing that extra padding to protect the index finger and the middle finger of the right hand. Watch what happens here. He gets into a terrible position. The ball doesn't bounce at all, but he leaves his hand there, and that's exactly where it hits. So now he's got some discomfort.
Oh, he's given that a belt. Nothing wrong with his hand with that. Four to Donald.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gerald, about X-rays and that type of thing. It's just a little knock on the thumb. Bang through the offside, full swing of the bat, had the width to go for it, and clobbered it.
Just short or taken. They're claiming the catch. Umpires Shepherd and Mitchley are going to consult. Donald is standing. Ridley Jacobs believes he's got it, and umpire Mitchley asked for the replay.
Wonderfully taken. Whatever the outcome is, wonderfully taken. Got the glove under it, and it looks pretty good from that replay. What a wonderful catch by Ridley Jacobs. The third umpire will have to determine. We'll have another look here.
Very low, dying all the time, but Ridley Jacobs seems to have got his glove underneath it. That is just a fantastic athletic take. Clutches it to his body. Now, third umpire Rudy Kudson called into action for the first time to make this decision, and that's just out of the shot for him. There he goes. Seems to be there.
Yeah, he seems to have got it.
Yes, he has.
What a wonderful catch. He took one yesterday down the leg side. Ridley Jacobs coming into the test side at the age of 31. They've tried a number of wicket keepers, and congratulations for him all round. You will not see a better wicketkeeper's catch than that. Donald goes for 7. It's 243 for 9.
David Terbrugge is 21. He bowled with great confidence and composure. But now he comes out as South Africa's last man. Oh, he's hit that well, Simcox. The fielders are all out in the deep, and Simcox can comfortably take 2. Oh, that's in the air. Is there someone underneath it? No. Drops into no man's land. Lara coming in from deep mid-wicket.
So 15 love to Pat Simcox and a single.
Firm drive, they're going to go for a few here. In fact, they'll get 4. Terrific shot.
Walsh didn't agree with you, but it really was. And if you are going to keep the strike and not take the singles, the best way to keep the strike is to hit 4s.
There are a few better players down this end of the order in this type of situation than Pat Simcox. He's done it for many, many years for every side he's played for. He'll take 1 here.
No!
Well played. Well, it's fun and games at this end of the innings. 251 for 9. Again, no run taken. Oh, well played. He's dug that out and it stayed in the crease. Well, no one else is going to come and fetch it.
It's the best entertainment the crowd have had for the day.
One.
Pat Simcox in with the last man, and Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh trying their damnness to remove him.
How's it going, Nietzsche?
Pat Simcox is engaging a little chatter with 1 or 2 of the commentators through the stump microphone, having a chat with his former teammate Fanie de Villiers.
He had 10 no balls yesterday. That's his first today, Ambrose.
And Tebruga wants to get off the mark in Test cricket. Simcox says no. Well, there's an illustration of that. 1 ball left in the over now. And he dealt with that very well. David Tebruga sets off, wants his first run. Simcox says no, no, no. He's got that one away. And 4. Well, well, well. It's the captain down at backward square leg. Beg your pardon, apologies.
Floyd Reefer, in fact, it is. Substitute. And really a bad miss. Not only has he given away 4 here, but also he's allowed Simcox to keep the strike because they were running. Whether they would have continued with it is another matter. But it really was a slack piece of fielding by the substitute.
Now they'll take it. Simcox might even be tempted into a second. He'll be risking it. Ooh.
Ollie. Ollie.
I think it's Pat Simcox having a laugh there as well. Oh, sharp turn.
He's heaved that away. And he's put him down at long on. And I've got confused with the running in the meantime, so for the first time it leaves Tebruga with 5 balls to face but the bottom line is that should have been out.
Almost never had to move 1 meter, Nixon McLean, and then suddenly it dropped, and Curtly Ambrose is not a happy man. But in the meantime, as Robin says, the batsmen have got a bit confused. Pat Simcox was almost on his way, and now David te Brugge is having to face.
Te Brugge off the mark. Not that he wasn't off the mark twice before, but Simcox had to turn him down. His first run in Test cricket.
It's always a special moment. And frustration is enormous for Curtly Ambrose. Really respectable looking stroke.
Oh, that's well bowled and very well played.
It was an incredibly good Yorker. This fury of Curtly Ambrose now being unleashed. And it really was venomous. It was so quick. Look at it, dug out there brilliantly. Would have broken his toe if it hadn't lifted his leg to dig it out.
He wants the second. Well, I don't know whether you heard what I heard.
That must have been Afrikaans as well.
Simcox wanted two very badly, and te Brugge rightly turned it down because he wouldn't have got back for two, and Patrick was a little upset.
All of our statisticians behind us here have been asking me why they don't try and get twos, and this is exactly the reason. When the batsman hits the ball towards the outfield like that, you never know quite how quickly the fielder's going to get in or the ball is going to run to him, and then you don't get the two, and suddenly the pressure is back on.
No, yes, two. Te Brugge's taken over.
Well, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. The one thing about David te Brugge, he's got confidence. It's 266 for 9.
One.
This will be tight. He's in. That might be out. I think it'll be... No, not even referred. Simcox knows as well. So it all ends in a run out in the end, and rather sadly so. Umpire Mitchley gives it without referral. And Simcox had no problem with it. And this is why it's way short.
Yes, unfortunate that, wasn't it? Because the innings were starting to look very exciting. And David te Brugge was playing so nicely, but now South Africa all out for 268.
Details of the South African innings in pursuit of West Indies 261, and I think they'll, generally speaking, be disappointed that they didn't get a greater lead than that. Contributions from Kirsten, 62. Cullis played beautifully for his 53. Dogged performance from Cronje on 41 there, and contributions in the lower order, but nothing that substantial. But a useful last wicket partnership between Simcox and te Brugge. Those are the partnerships. 92, the one of significance, Kirsten and Cullis, and then nothing really significant from there on. And to get a decent lead, that's what South Africa required. West Indies bowlers, just 4 of them used. Lewis did a very good stop job for Brian Lara, but the pick, of course, Courtney Walsh going past Malcolm Marshall's record. 4 for 66, Walsh. McLean, I should say, 2 for 66, and Ambrose, good support with 2 for 63. So there is the match situation. West Indies all out 261. South Africa a modest lead of just 7 runs. We pick up the action now in the second over of the West Indies second innings.
Well, that's a fine stroke, but wide of off stump, and really he didn't need to play it, but he did and he gets a beautiful boundary just behind square on the offside. Look at that. Full flow of the arms.
This is past Jonty Rhodes, and it's going to be too much, I think, for Simcox. Well, he's done well to get a hand to it, but I think it's going to be adjudicated as a 4. In fact, Simcox doesn't even bother to wait for umpire Mitchley.
Good effort from Pat Simcox. Nicely tied by Lambert. Doesn't try and hit it too hard. Just waits for it to come to him.
It will have to be bad light that decides it, and that was a fearsome delivery from Sean Pollock to end his over. We'll have a look at it in a moment. 15 for no wicket.
This is a good, well-directed bouncer. He's straight over off stump and high enough that if he actually didn't bail out and tried to hit it, he would have really got into trouble and would have had great difficulty in trying to keep it down.
He didn't bail out very well. He started to get the head under it, but he left the gloves up there and hammered very hard, and that's gone for 4 runs. Raced past Jonty Rhodes, and he sort of indicated that he hadn't really seen it. It was brilliantly cracked.
Yes, and I think that's well, it's either a good acted performance from Jonty Rhodes, but it's caused the umpires to get together again and discuss the light, and I'd be very surprised if they don't go off now.
Well, all the players asked for from the umpires is consistency. They went off yesterday for bad light when the sun slipped behind a very big cloud, and then they eventually came out again when the sun once more came out. There's no prospect of the sun coming through here at the moment. The light meter up again, and I think this time he is going to offer it to the batsman. So, well, the crowd don't like it. They've come here to enjoy themselves and to watch some action, but you really cannot blame the batsman on this occasion for accepting it. Nothing wrong with the way he saw that, though.
No, but he's got the benefit of the side screen, and everybody who's not such as the point fielder, obviously it's a different story for him, but he certainly gives that a crack.
Covers being dragged out. It hasn't started raining yet, but I'd like to get the covers on before it comes, because I think when it does come, it'll come in a downpour.
The clouds have been building up from mid-morning, flooding the ground and preventing any further play on the 3rd day. Well, going into the 4th day, this match beautifully poised. The West Indies didn't lose any further wickets, 20 for no wicket.
To bat on, run scoring is at a premium here. The West Indies then 20 for no wicket. Let's pick up highlights of this 4th day with the first ball of the day.
Now we're ready for the first ball of the 4th day's play.
Alan Donald from the golf course end to Philo Wallace. Immediately Philo Wallace flashes at it. Not a very good shot first up on this 4th day. Jonty Rhodes at backward point is quickly onto that one. Oh, he's bowled off the inside edge. Sean Pollock strikes again, his 6th wicket in the Test match, and he's got Philo Wallace in his very first over on this 4th day. Off the inside edge, and Wallace is gone for 14.
Poor stroke here from Wallace. Difficult to determine what he was attempting. It's a pretty good length ball, and he's going back with a cross bat, looking to force it through the onside from outside the off stump. Not dissimilar to the way that Hansie Cronje got out yesterday to Curtly Ambrose, and Walsh Wallace goes, and once more the arm pumping Sean Pollock has struck for South Africa. 24 for 1. Wallace goes for 14.
The great Brian Lara, the West Indian captain, to the wicket. Buzz around the ground the moment he stepped onto the field. This is cracked away backward a square, but the 3rd man is fairly square himself, so he can get around. Here comes the throw. And it's not too bad at all from the new man, Tobrooka. This is played very well indeed by Lara. Through the covers off the back foot, and it's a long chase for Jonty Rhodes. He'll get there, but Lara will get 3. Well, unfortunately, that immediately means that the gully's going to go back into the covers. And in order to compensate, the second slip is going to gully. So one good shot by Lara, and suddenly the field has changed again. Lara had a go at that one, and it was up in the air for a moment. I think it came off the thigh pad.
Yes, it did. Pirouetting there to try and put it down to backwards square, ball onto him. Perhaps the extra bounce as well. The bounce hasn't been all that consistent on this pitch. But with the angle, Lara into the shot. And, well, perhaps not misjudging the bounce, because he seemed to be in position for it. Just got it in the thigh pad, perhaps playing a little bit too late.
Oh, a big peel for LBW, and he's gone. Now, it looked as though that kept a bit low, and you were talking about the variable bounce, Tony, and that seemed, it was a very fast delivery. It forced him on the back foot, turned him a bit square, and I think it kept a bit low. And Brian Lara is LBW for 7. A big blow for the West Indies, huge strike for Donald.
And really, absolutely no doubt about that, whatever. On the back foot, within the crease. Donald putting him on the back.
Comes to the wicket, top scorer in the first innings with a very studied 74. He goes past the outside edge. That wasn't a very good shot from Chanderpaul. It ends an exciting over at 33 for 2.
Pulled away and over mid-wicket for 4. And that's going to be the secret of batting on this pitch. When you get half a chance to score, capitalise.
Absolutely. This really wasn't a terrible delivery. It was slightly short and beautiful shot. But of course, you must remember, Clayton Lambert's stance is almost preparing him for that kind of a stroke. He's very strong on it, partly because he's so open in his stance.
Oh, that's beautifully bowled as well. Oh, well bowled. Now, did he play that or didn't he? I'm going to suggest he did.
You're saying that he pulled the bat away too late. Let's watch this one. You can see he's trying to square up a little bit, and he plays inside the line. I say he didn't.
I agree with you. And he does a maiden 37 for 2. Oh, he goes. I was about to say, well, unless he got bat on that, that's out. We presume he didn't, because umpire Shepherd says that's out. Pollock strikes. West Indies now in trouble.
What a magnificent delivery. Once again, he was shuffling back, and this time the ball held its line. And watch here, beautiful ball, straightening on him slightly, but inside the inside edge of the bat, hit him above the knee roll, but he was so far back that there was no doubt in the umpire's mind. Shandap goes for 1.
Now West Indies in their second innings, 38 for 3. Stuart Williams, who's come in to bat. No Carl Hooper just yet. He was scheduled to come in now, but Hooper, once he was out in the first innings, we haven't seen him since.
Now changing the bowling from the golf course end, David Tobrooka.
Pulled away, wide mid on. Chase for Donald.
His warm-up delivery, and he just spooned it away. He didn't really put too much into it.
Oh. Yeah, Rhodes, this is interesting. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Let's have another look at that.
That certainly is worth more than another look. Absolute brilliance again by Jonty, and he pushes it perfectly into the gap. Says, yeah, there's no question, he's going to the wrong side. And look how fast he turns and then lets it go, and he would have just been in.
It's a little width and driven by Williams to deep backward point. And 2 runs to Stuart Williams. Well, that's hit well, and that is going to go down to deep backward point for 4 runs. He really gave that a crack. A little too much width.
Shakala sometimes is a bit guilty, no matter what his figures might say. End of the over, 48 for 3.
Oh, a little spite off the pitch there. Bottom hand onto the glove, and another excellent effort from Ter Brugge. 49 for 3. Big appeal.
I think just outside the off stump there. As commentators, we're very judgmental on umpires, normally after the third extra slow action replay, but first reactions is that's just outside the off stump.
Very just, though. There's pad first and then bat, I think. Well, he's really keeping it tight.
This one has hit him a little bit on the move, Gerald, so it might have, I think it might have been closer to hit him in line with the stumps, but there is quite a lot of movement, latish movement in, although it straightens, and I mean, that's not too bad. I think Ter Brugge didn't really get into the action with a big appeal.
You see there's certainly pad and bat. Oh, that is well bowled. But Lambert played inside.
This is nicely driven, but very nicely fielded by that short cover.
And this is just the sort of thing that will encourage David Ter Brugge. He's bowling now for that, and the batsman looking for the gap. Now, the moment he starts to play the shot in anger, there's a better chance for the bowler to get a wicket.
That's cracked away, and that will, I think, go for 4. Not even Jonty Rhodes will catch it.
Well, it brings up the half-century for the West Indies, and it's taken them 174 balls in just over 2 hours to get to this half-century. So a good stroke at last we've seen this morning, and the crowd, which is getting larger all the time, enjoying the sun and the warmth, have at last seen something to enjoy.
Oh, he's caught at second slip, and Ter Brugge has got Williams for the second time in the test match. The young Gautinger strikes, and the West Indies are 53 for 4. Stuart Williams is gone for 12, splendidly caught at second slip.
A fine delivery, just a little bit of extra bounce and leaving him, and there's that loose shot that we were thinking could happen at any time. Excitement for David Ter Brugge, and West Indies in trouble now, 53 for 4.
That's nicely played, and it'll go for 4. It was just a little bit too full and onto the leg stump, and he picked it nicely off his toes, away backward a square for 4.
Sharkalis trying to get a little bit of extra swing, and it certainly did swing. Just moved to the leg side. He must be strong there with that stance, but he did put it away very well indeed.
Edged and down towards third man it'll go, and it gets there. 4 runs, despairing dive. It was along the ground for most of the way, so no real chance, but definitely the outside edge.
Well, Trevor, we've been talking all morning about the logic of having only one slip when the side is in trouble with 4 down. Not that that was a catch, but it certainly, if had been a second slip there, there would not have been a boundary.
Well, he played at that one.
Oh, well bowled. That it's good running. That is good running. That's a poor delivery and dispatch for 4. If you want it to turn away from the left-hander, it's got to land first. 71 for 4.
Well, you haven't seen many of those. A full toss. And well put away by Ridley Jacobs.
That's a beautiful stroke. Long chase for Hansie Cronje. He will haul it in.
And we haven't seen many of those today. The bouncer.
In this case, the non-bouncing bouncer, Lambert. And it's certainly made Lambert do something different. And I don't know that Mr. Cozier, who of course is from the Caribbean, was all that happy with that stroke.
Well, I don't think anyone would have been, but he's just got himself into a little bit of a mental confusion here.
Oh, Simo. Over.
Good over. Interesting, intriguing. And a maiden, 74 for 4. Complete contrast from the figures that he showed in the first innings after 9 overs. Look at this. And beautifully played, I might add. He's got hold of that, it's in the air, and there was somebody under it. And he's wearing a red hat, and he's 8 rows back, so the ball finished 15.
What a remarkable stroke. It wasn't a hook. It was a pickup by Ridley Jacobs. And it went a long way. It certainly came off the middle of the bat.
There's the fella with the red hat. There's the one with the white one that had to take evasive action.
Remarkable shot. Look at that pirouette.
That's well bowled. And what's the decision? Oh, he doesn't have to give one. He's off and gone. I say it was well bowled. It was very well caught.
An extremely good catch by Mark Boucher. I remember Alan Knott taking a catch like that off Derek Underwood standing up. You don't see a keeper very often standing up to a spinner take a diving catch. Might just have carried the first slip. Boucher wasn't going to take that chance. That is a stunning catch. And a crucial one too, because it gets rid of Clayton Lambert, who had hung around for a long time for his 33, and it converts the West Indies into more trouble, 85. Phil Wallace comes out with Carl Hooper. So Hooper's groin strain still affecting him.
Swatted away. Now that would have gone to the backward point, who is currently fielding in the gully, but a bit too short and a little too wide, and nicely played.
Yes, very nicely played, because it did bounce a little bit, but he got well on top of it and played it safely into the ground.
Another full toss, and Pat Simcott's quite cross about it. And the end of the over. 90 now for 5. chipped away, and misfield there. I say misfield's a little bit harsh. One gets used to such a high standard that when that sort of thing happens, Alan Donald regards it as a misfield, that's for sure.
Yes, he made good ground to his left, but I think just sneaking underneath him. Everyone used to shout Sydney when something like that happened. Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Struck away over mid-wicket. Good shot. One bounce 4.
Well, this is a good shot because remember, his mobility is limited. He doesn't try and hit the ball too hard. He just knows that there's no one out there. There wasn't, there now is. He lofts it out with good timing out into the outfield.
Now that's a dangerous stroke. We've seen that played quite a lot in this game, and it's brought about the demise of 1 or 2 batsmen. Gary Kirsten jumps to mind purely because Jacobs is left-handed, but it's much too close to cut, and the bounce of this pitch is not conducive to that stroke.
Whoops, a big appeal. I don't think so, but Ridley Jacobs found himself in a somewhat unusual position as he tried to hit that out through mid-wicket.
In frustration, he swings the bat again, but the thud of the ball against the pad just unsettled him and unbalanced him. There, his weight wasn't on the leg, and it actually wasn't the worst shot at all. The only thing I think that may have had an effect was the ball may have pitched outside leg stump. Let's have a look at it again. And probably that is the case.
Oh!
There was a sound there, wasn't there? As though it might have been an inside edge. Another fine delivery from David Terbrugge. And yes, no signal from Cyril Mitchley. So that was a chance. Ooh, a thick inside edge. And yeah, he just touched it with the bottom edge of the glove. It was a very, very difficult chance.
Appeal for LBW here. This is a pretty good shot. And has the finger gone up? No. Well, the batsman must get very twitchy with umpire Mitchley there, because the finger, I think he must have called not out though. And so...
Yes, this pitching just outside the off stump, coming back at the right-hander. Hits him on the roll, is well forward. And if you're going to be consistent, you can't be giving those out too easily.
Another shot for LBW. Oh, and that hit him low down. But, I think umpire Shepherd might have decided that it was slipping away down the leg side because of the angle from which it had been delivered.
Yes, when you see how wide he is of the crease, and he's a right-hander, so the ball is coming in sharply from the offside, and really that's still got another meter to travel, and within that time it's going to slip down the leg side.
This is a bit of a smash by Hooper. It won't go to the boundary because he didn't get it well enough, but they're looking for the third. His runner, Philo Wallace, has got a race, but they make it. Too short from Terbrugge and too wide as well. Beats Jonty Rhodes, but Donald is there to tidy up behind him.
There it goes. There is a man at deep mid-wicket, but there isn't a man at long on. And Harper's hit that over him, even if he had been there. And the 50 partnership comes up with that blow.
He is such a clean hitter of the ball straight. That didn't go exactly straight. He used the turn on it to put it away.
Cheekily and delicately played.
Well, he couldn't get it later than this. Late cut by Carl Hooper, known in some places in the West Indies as the day after tomorrow cut. So late, taken out of the keeper's gloves. No slip, slip having been moved out. Very delicate.
Driven hard through the covers, 4. Magnificent stroke.
Fractionally overpitched, he was onto it in a flash. Everything into that. And perfectly played. That right leg goes out to meet the ball, right out it comes. The bat straight through it.
Big appeal, out. Shepherd didn't hesitate. Callis strikes, and what an important one it might turn out to be.
Well, a bit of a wrong time for that wicket. Good delivery, and Hooper hopping around. Virtually a Yorker length delivery. Well, not quite Yorker, but up anyhow, brought him forward. And hit seemingly on the back leg. Whatever it was in front of middle. And Hooper goes for 34. Very good partnership, restorative partnership for the West Indies. But the specialist batsman is the one who goes for 34. 148 for 6.
So the South African supporters here are now woken up from what might have been a bit of a slumber as Raul Lewis makes his way to the crease. Edge, good stop from Cullinan, very good stop. He's gone a little wider at first slip and had to go to his left, which isn't a natural thing for a first slip to catch it. Well, caught it. Just a word or two from Simcox to reassure the West Indian wicketkeeper that he wants to get him out. And they're straight off the knee roll, as you can plainly see. The catcher didn't get excited.
Simcox certainly is now. Leaping all over the place. Twice in succession now, he comes down the pitch. I was going to say leaping like a springbok, but I don't suppose that's the correct analogy with Pat Simcox.
It's all happening. It's all happening, but nothing's happening.
Just to keep the pressure on, Simcox.
No shots being offered you, boy.
A lot of talking going on out there. No, a lot of shots not being offered here. Wicket's just fallen, tension up.
Oh, rash shots, and he's got his man. Now, that was actually great cricket. Pressure applied, a few words down the pitch, and then a loss of patience from Ridley Jacobs, and Simcox snares his man.
That wicket is owed to the previous 3 deliveries and the pressure that was put on, and the fact that a wicket had just fallen. Well, perhaps Ridley Jacobs will be very displeased with that. He's played a magnificent innings. He's been out there for almost 3 hours.
And immediately hits out first ball after tee. Well, that's an amazing shot, and it's going to bring him, I think, 4 runs. It does indeed. A chase for mid-off, but he doesn't get there in time. Oh, what an extraordinary start.
Yeah, well, this is real Caribbean stuff. It's the sort of stuff that we've been saying and regretting that we've been missing because of the discipline of the batsman hitherto. But look at that first ball, not even a sighter, and over the top it goes. Remember, he's a left-hander. The ball could have bounced in the rough.
That kept a bit low. We've seen a few do that outside the off stump to the left-hander, with the bowler operating from the corner drive end. Bottom edge, 1 bounce through to the keeper.
Well, another extravagant stroke from a batsman still new to the crease. Really trying for a huge boundary there. and just getting that bottom inside edge.
Trying to hit this too hard. Swung himself off his feet. Oscar, Simo, Oscar.
Yes, this is all part of Pat Simcox exerting pressure. And look at that movement of Cyril Mitchley's hand, and of course that excited half the crowd. They thought he was putting his finger up.
More pressure being exerted by the captain now. He's brought in the gully halfway through the over. Now he's brought in himself in a silly point position. Very good over from Pat Simcox. A maiden, a taxing one. Quite firmly hit by Royal Lewis, but Cullis dropped a hand on it. Moved right across in front. It just gets it away down the onside and wait to see whether it came off pad or bat. Umpire Shepherd indicates a leg bye. Suddenly Nixon McLean has a rush of blood again. He had one immediately after tea. He hit the first ball from Simcox of 4. Oh! That dropped just short of Adam Bacher at mid-wicket.
Very strange stroke because it was outside off stump, and look how he hits it to mid-wicket. So almost thinking again of the pull, and that one, no wonder it surprised Adam Bacher. He wouldn't have expected it to fly like that in the air, but in the end it was nowhere near a chance.
This is whipped away, backward to square on the onside, and goes for 4. Bad ball from Jacques Cullis, straying down the leg side.
And I think Pat Simcox was glaring at the police dog. He thought he might have had a nip in the ankle as he went around there. He watched the police dog will come into play just about now.
Oh.
Is that a guilty conscience or something?
Appeal for LBW. Going on down the leg side, I think umpire Shepherd.
Little stump.
Well, that one even more so than the shot that Sean Pollock had under similar circumstances going round the wicket to the left-hander. You can see the leg stump there, you see. Wow. Foot behind the crease.
Appeal was comprehensively LBW.
Generally regarded. So just the 4 runs from it, 159 for 7. Simcox bailing out as he spotted the dog.
Oh.
This is nicely struck through the covers, and it's going to be 4 runs, I think. Very handsome shot indeed by Royal Lewis.
Yes, the impressive thing about the players that are new to us so far, Royal Lewis and Ridley Jacobs, is that they both can handle the bat, and that was a classic cover drive.
That's him out. Whoa.
him look more comfortable. The score suddenly moving up to 168. So the lead 161, 3 wickets still in hand. Danny Becker with the third new ball, second new ball.
In the air, but wide of the mid-wicket. And now hesitation by the batsman. Plenty of time to take a second, but I think the batsman was so alarmed that he spooned that in the air and got away with it, and then there was confusion. Hansie Cronje wasn't quick enough at getting it back, so they ended with 2 runs. It's 170 for 7.
There's the flighted one, and he's out, caught slip by Cullinan. Good bowling. The temptation was there. Delaying the new ball worked, as David Richardson suggested it might. Well bowled, Patrick Simcox. 170 for 7.
Yes, well done, Cronje, as much as anybody. And just look at this, a little bit of extra flight, and Nixon McLean just can't resist. It turns sharply out of the footmarks, and Daryl Cullinan takes a simpler catch.
And a little bit of ballet. So 170 for 8 now, the West Indies. Nixon McLean. Oh, that could well be out, and is. Umpire Shepherd doesn't hesitate. Sean Pollock strikes again, and once again, as 1 wicket falls, so does another. 9 down now.
Well, still up as you with the old ball, and what Pollock has done exceptionally well here. He's kept it straight and true. Lewis got into line, but it keeps low, comes back at him, and sufficiently to beat the inside edge, plumb in front.
Raul makes his way to the crease. This wondrous crowd are almost on their feet. Tremendous atmosphere here at the Wanderers now. The leave. .163 the overall lead for the West Indies. Sean Pollock needs just 1 for 100 wickets. And that's it, I think. Yes, it is. He's got there. Great bowling from Pollock. He scored 1,000 runs in Test cricket. He's now got 100 wickets in Test cricket. So did his father, who you saw applauding him there. He joins him as only 2 father and son combinations as we watch it. Hitting leg stump, middle and leg. And that wicket gives Sean Pollock his 100th. And as I was saying, only 2 father and son combinations have done that, 100 wickets in Test cricket. Peter and Sean Pollock, and
to come. In fact, bad light first and then rain, rather like on the 3rd day. So that's the West Indies scorecard. A really top-class effort by South Africa in bowling them out today. 20 without loss overnight they started, and South Africa removed 5 wickets, 5 batsmen before lunch, 2 between lunch and tea, and the match beautifully set up for a finish here at 49. Donald, Tabrugga and Cullis all bowled very, very tightly, and Pat Simcox did a fantastic job, 3 for 43. So that's the match situation. 164 needed for victory. It's going to be a mighty tense day here at the Wanderers.
Absolutely perfect day, as you saw there. Blue skies, not a cloud in sight. So here's Curtly Ambrose on the final morning of the first test to Gary Kirsten. Immediately a very good delivery that had Gary. This is past the short leg. In fact, it's backward a square, and they'll be able to get 2 runs. So Adam Bacher opens his account. Oh, short, and dealt with rather well by Gary Kirsten. Pulls us in front of square, and it's going to run to the mid-wicket boundary. He's got this one away, backward of the square. He'll get another couple of runs. to double his score. They might even get 3. In fact, they will get 3 because Courtney Walsh took quite a long time to get round and pick that one up. Just behind square, down through the gully area, and they'll get 2. Running very, very quickly.
And Gary Kirsten goes. There was hesitation there from the batsman for a moment, and no hesitation from umpire Shepherd, and that's a big blow for South Africa. Kirsten, a good occupier of the crease. The West Indies will have felt that as a major breakthrough.
Well, this seems to bounce more than usual. You see just by reaction the way he takes his hand off the bat and finds the edge. A wide ball, perhaps he could have left it, but you're trying to be as positive as possible. 14 for 1.
Makes his way to the crease. Played very well in the first innings. Probably handled the situation and the pitch and the bowling better than anybody else. Now, were there 2 noises? Cyril Mitchley says yes, there were. Now, game on, very much game on. Walsh strikes to back up Ambrose. Adam Bacher on his way, and South Africa rocking at 14 for 2.
Well, credit must go to Brian Lara here, just putting that little bit of doubt in Adam Bacher's mind, perhaps, bringing the man short in on the offside. He tries to cover the off stump to a too great a degree, ends up playing outside it, gets the inside edge onto the pad and straight to short leg.
Makes his way to the crease. If he needs to hurry, there was hesitation in terms of Cullinan. And Cullis was very happy to come, but Cullinan, I think, might have still been thinking about what the ball did.
That's 2 legs.
Yes, he looks at Jacques. Perhaps Jacques' call not as loud as he would have liked.
I don't think there's one to slip. There might be one now. Yes, there is. Oh, what a... That's one way of getting a single. In the air, but past the diving second slip. It won't beat Ambrose at third man. This is the dilemma that Lara has, isn't it? Should there be a third slip there? Well, looking at that, yes, there should, but...
But if there was, that bounced short of him anyway, so I think he's got it right at the moment.
Oh, that's a good shot. He's worked that with his wrists from outside off stump through a vacant mid-on area. A comfortable 3. Well played.
And just because of that, I'm pretty sure that next time Daryl Cullinan is on strike, Lara will think very seriously about bringing a mid-on into position.
Oops, that's in the air, and the West Indians are beseeching umpire Shepherd to give Cullis out. Let's take a look.
Really a very, very big appeal, and in fact it looked as if the bat hit the front pad. That was the big sound they heard. And Philip Wallace coming down, and umpire David Shepherd, very experienced umpire, and that hit front pad. Tension out there.
Stop it.
Oh, it's a good shot. It's well half stopped, and then a second half stop. Well, there's a big shot from Cullinan, and it's 4 runs to the deep mid-wicket boundary. It's Cullis going after it, and that will go to the deep mid-wicket boundary. Not quite sweetly hit, but effective enough, and brings South Africa 4 more runs. 38 for 2.
And with few runs to get. When you've got two boundaries like that, it really makes the batsman breathe a huge sigh of relief. The tension just leaves the body.
Another big shot that's in the air. Walsh is running back. Oh, and he's missed it, but a terrific attempt. In fact, it was Nixon McLean. Well, Daryl Cullinan, not quite there, got right underneath it, sliced it up into the air, and he was somewhere away from it, was Nixon McLean. Just put his hands out and hope that somewhere the ball might land in it and find them. It didn't.
That'll be 4. That's a good shot. Everything right about it. Lee Irvin will describe it to you.
Well, the mindset of trying to dominate sometimes does take the element of risk, and Daryl Cullinan started it by hitting over the top, but this really was a class shot, hitting it with the spin, obviously reading it that it was the leg spinner, and then guiding it into the gap. A really classy cricket shot.
Rock and roll. That'll just be 1. I hope. Well, that was only ever 1. And the effort to think that there was 2 nearly turned into awful mess up with Jacques Cullis slipping. More of that in a moment. 45 for 2. There's 4 of them. What a good shot. Very good shot.
Well, this is the reason that Nixon McLean has been held back, is that he tends to be a little bit loose. He drops them a bit short, and on a pitch that is so slow, that's cannon fodder. But Daryl Cullinan, full marks to him for getting back so quickly. Look at it, you know he's looking to hit, and he just leans back and smashes it over mid-wicket's head. Ball rolling into the new stand. Of course, Nixon McLean is still loosening up, and it's not going to be made easier by a stroke like that.
Another superb shot. It's quality batting, this. It really is.
South Africa have passed the 50 mark. He hits it down into the ground, and then it passes the diving Chanderpaul.
Driven hard into the covers and parried down, if anything. And a quite explosive over. 2 beautiful shots from Cullinan. Well, actually 4 or 3.5. Look at this.
See how he's really looking to get after Nixon McLean. In fact, all of the bowlers, and exert his dominance.
Big appeal from Cyril Mitchley, not a convincing one from anybody really. I thought I might have heard 2 noises. Just didn't look right, did it?
Yes, but it'll do Nixon McLean some good to be able to appeal, and just the fact that he beat the bat will give him some encouragement, and certainly he is hurrying the batsman on a little bit. You can see he wasn't far out of the crease in the end because he went back first, and he's by far and away the quickest of the West Indies bowlers.
He's got the full stride in there, but from way behind the popping crease. That's a good shot. I don't know the timing's perfect, so it might not get there, and doesn't. And a quick release to stop any thoughts of a 3rd run.
Well, that was excellent fielding by Brian Lara.
Pulled away by Cullinan and caught at the 2nd attempt, which made it an even better catch by Brian Lara, the West Indian captain, and that's a big wicket for the West Indies.
Right, really. Ball rushed on Daryl Cullinan. He had 35 already, but he was trying that same waft over mid-wicket. Didn't quite get this one in the middle, and Brian Lara standing there. He hit the bottom edge of the bat. Brian Lara parried it up, missed it to begin with, and then dived and caught a very spectacular catch, and one wonders what effect that's going to have on the match. 58 for 3.
It's nicely played by Cullis. They'll get 2.
Chanderpaul running for it. He's quite quick across the ground.
Well, nothing nervous about that shot.
Wow, that was superbly timed. It was a half volley, but it was a very quick half volley.
That's a nice shot from Cronje. He's hit 2 or 3 in the middle of the bat without piercing the field. That does, and gets him off the mark.
The tactic which worked very well in the first innings against Hansie Cronje was to have a mid-wicket very straight, and they basically, West Indies got him out by frustrating him out, not allowing him any easy runs. At the moment there's a short leg in and there's a man behind square on the leg side saving 1.
Less than 100 now to win. 98 to be precise with that single.
Just wonder if he had in his mind initially a pull shot, then decided against it. You really have just a split second to make those kind of decisions. And dropping the wrist, I thought that just went through his mind that he would make the pull shot, and then there it goes. Nicely timed and nicely placed. Very well timed. Pick up 2. Again, the timing is good, and Lara will just get there. This time they'll come back for a 3rd. So McLean's line just beginning to drift down the leg side and clipped away twice in the over now. There's that mid-wicket vacancy, and they'll come back for 2 and then get a 3rd quite comfortably. Chanderpaul is the fielder. Again, Walsh just tending to drift down the leg side. He's had a problem with that line, certainly in the first over on his resumption, and now worked away quite comfortably.
And really the number of deliveries that have held up off a length have been few and far between, and I just wonder if Brian Lara shouldn't consider moving that short leg back into a conventional saving 1 position at mid-wicket and try and tie these 2 batsmen down and build the pressure that way.
That's drifting down leg side as well. Not very far down leg side, but enough for umpire Shepherd to say not out. Again, Walsh just getting that angle, delivering from wide of the stumps.
Double bluff down the leg side. I think Walsh a little bit tired. Players go to lunch. 77 for 3, 37 overs have been bowled.
Nicely played off the back foot by Hansie Cronje through the covers. At least 2. I think they'll be able to get a 3rd. I didn't run the first 2, particularly the first one, quite quickly enough, I don't think. Clayton Lambert is not the fastest in the field, and he took quite some time to get there, and if they'd run hard they would have got 3.
Sometimes when you play the shot you can be guilty of immediately summing up that there is only 2 in it, and the fact that Lambert was a little bit slow, well, maybe they could have squeezed a 3rd.
Off the back foot, and this was nicely timed too, this time by Cullis, and it's going down the ground. They'll definitely be able to get 3 runs. And so it's been a very productive first over after lunch for South Africa. 7 runs from it, 84 for 3. Hansie Cronje wanted the run. Cullis didn't. It's Cronje's call really, because it was played backward a square, but no harm done. Cronje getting back to his ground. 86 for 3. Full toss, but hits straight to Medon, and they're going to run, and they make it quite comfortably enough. Medon just too deep.
Yes, Medon is Hooper, and he's a good 25 yards behind the level of the bowler's stumps. And also bearing in mind he's not that mobile, an easy single.
Down the track, beautiful hit, straight back down the ground, couple of bounces, 4 runs. That's Hansie Cronje at his best when playing spin bowling.
Very good shot, uses his feet to get to the pitch, but as we were saying just moments earlier, if he's going to bowl from around the wicket into that rough, he's got to bowl it about 6 inches wider than he is at the moment. You'll see there just pitching in an area where it's not as rough.
Lovely footwork though by Hansie Cronje to get to the pitch. If he doesn't get to the pitch, of course, it's still going to turn from that rough, even if he hasn't hit exactly the right place, and he could be left stranded and stumped. Now they've dropped a man back onto the boundary at long on, so he just knocks it away on the onside and will get a single for it. There's definitely a little more urgency about the South African batting after the lunch interval. They want to get the task done. Ooh. And that one very nearly streaked through. So the batsman having had the better of the first half of the over, but good comeback from Lewis, 95 for 3. To Cronje, no ball, and Cronje forces it straight into the hands of Medon. Now, do we believe that Hansie Cronje played that shot a little more forcefully because he heard the no ball call, or not?
Never, Trevor. There's no chance that he can pick up the call. And there's no doubt about the no ball, but things are just not going West Indies' way at the moment. A good catch taken by Philo Wallace.
Going through with the shot, forcing it, and straight into Silly Medon's hands. Well, Courtney Walsh, we've seen in this test match, whenever he goes round the wicket, Curtly Ambrose, he has struggled. He's bowled no balls.
Yes, that's bad luck for the West Indies, and in bad luck for Brian Lara in particular.
Down the wicket, lovely shot, but the fielder is there. Courtney Walsh had to move away smartly. Oh, well. Another run. You see Ambrose still battling going round the wicket. Can't quite get it right. And these are valuable runs, and that could have been 5. Because Hansie Cronje will be very annoyed with himself that he didn't get onto this short one.
Yes, playing too soon, Cronje. Big no ball. But he sees through with a shot, then the ball comes and hits him in the midriff.
This is smashed away through the covers, 4 runs, and all in all an expensive over, 104 for 3. Well, that was well done by the keeper. He got his body behind it and in one way and another stopped it from going for byes. Very difficult one for him to contend with down the leg side there. Callis will feel that he might have lost out on that, although there's a man backward at square on the boundary and one at mid-wicket. Now he cuts. Lara's there, jumping away to give himself room. Now that was too short. It's hammered away on the onside. They won't get more than 1 though. They might get 1 for the throw here, and they do. Courtney Walsh and company don't have the arm of a Donald or a Pollock or a Klusner, the South African fast bowlers, and so they know that, and they took him on short, swung around down to fine leg, just a single. That's not going to be the case this time. This is nicely played away through mid-wicket by Jacques Kallis, and it's going to go to the boundary. The runs are a-coming.
Again, very nicely timed by Jacques Kallis. Notice how he opens up on the leg side, places it perfectly. But Walsh, well, the mind is willing, but the flesh is weak.
There's one, they'll push hard for two, and they'll get it. Well, Nixon McLean's had an indifferent time in the field. And this is mainly due to some really good running between the wickets. Oh, that is a wonderful shot by Jacques Kallis. Just had to make sure it went in the right area. It did. But playing on the up, 4 runs.
Well, a huge shot, and it's just another indication of the South Africans' confidence now. You don't often see Courtney Walsh being driven on the up like that. Awesome, and really one must say that both he and Ambrose, whilst they've bowled well today, they've been not that pacey, and particularly on a pitch like this, this is the sort of stroke that one may expect later on in their spells.
Bob Woolmer, obviously a bit tense there. It's a nice straight shot for 1, if not 2. Cronje's interested, but Ambrose has got a good arm. Well, that's in the air. Now, is there someone underneath it? McLean has taken it. And that is a crucial blow. Cronje caught McLean, bowled Walsh. And he's out for 31. And Walsh gets his 2nd wicket of the innings. And it's 124 for 4.
This one really not again quite short enough, just as Daryl Cullinan erred by trying to pull one that wasn't quite short enough. This one very high, and Nixon McLean has had his trials and tribulations in the field during the match, but look at that, almost unemotional as Walsh sees the captain of South Africa dismissed by that great delivery. 31 and 124 for 4. Big shout, particularly from the bowler. Jonty Rhodes hit between the pads as he tried to turn it to leg. Slightly jumped, and it gave me the impression that the ball was going a bit high, but instead it was probably going down leg. It hit him above the knee roll. That's not necessarily vital. Watch here from the side-on view that you will see how high it is. It certainly wasn't high or too high, but marginal and probably going down leg.
Would have been times he would have been given out there, 13 times in 52 dismissals. Good positive shot.
One of the strengths of Jonty Rhodes throughout his career has been, no matter what happens the ball before, it doesn't worry him. He plays each ball on its merits, he puts these things behind him, and look at that stroke there, really perfect. He's standing still more than he used to when he plays the shot. Brian Lara racing after it, but not able to avoid Jonty Rhodes getting his 2nd run.
Oh, he's pulled that beautifully over mid-wicket, and it'll run down to the boundary for 4.
Well, I was fascinated by Brian Lara's field placing before that ball. He sent Curtly Ambrose out to deep long on, and instead this one was hit squarer by Jacques Kallis into the huge vacant area. You just saw Curtly Ambrose in the bottom of your picture as that shot was played, but a nice stroke indeed. Simply, there's not enough pace in the pitch, and there's not enough pace in Courtney Walsh for him to bowl deliveries like that. Half a shot because there was a little nick onto the pad. Shiv Chanderpaul very quick to save the single, and once again a little bit of frustration for Jacques Kallis as he thinks that he could have got some runs from this delivery, angling it into him. Look, thick inside edge, in fact, not a little one, but it was a full toss, and a batsman of this caliber would expect to score at least one run from every full toss. So only 34 needed. As Gerald de Kock looks pensive next to me.
Only 34. Doesn't dampen the spirits of the West Indian fans. Here's Lewis around the wicket. And a no ball.
Well, this is interesting. In the past, there was almost no incentive for the batsman.
Now, it's not often you'd see a spinner bowl a no ball, but there it is. It's cracked away. Great shot off the back foot by Kallis. He's in rich form now as South Africa sends victory 136 for 4.
Yes, he moves on to 47 with that great shot. And Lewis has bowled very steadily indeed in the spell. And this was almost one of the first really loose balls that he's bowled. You have to expect that with a wrist spinner.
Oh,
that's good technique when one gets the whole body in line.
Rhodes scampers down there. How good a run that was, I'm not sure, but he got in.
Well, is Jonty Rhodes going to be able to do this when he's 36? I don't know.
Very tight, if it had been a direct hit. Very tight.
And you saw in that shot there, Jacques Kallis, he also had to go some, because had they thrown to the bowler's end accurately, he would have been in trouble.
Pulled away. And 4, misfield. Deficit now 19.
As is always the case, when there's 35, 40 runs to get, it still looks quite a way off. But as you get into the teens, well, you can feel the whole mood in the dressing room, the batting dressing room that is. It just eases, the tension drains away.
There was.
Swept this time, only 1. Edge and out. Good catch by Ridley Jacobs, going to his right. I fear that it might all be too late for the West Indies, but Rhodes goes.
I was just about to say that in this innings, Courtney Walsh hasn't really been able to move the ball away from the right-hander, and true as Bob, he gets this one to angle in, but then move away sharply off the seam. And good catch again by Ridley Jacobs.
So Rhodes goes. Oh, it's come back an awful lot. Too much, I would say.
Well, look at this. It can only have hit a crack. It comes back miles. Pitching a good foot outside the off stump and hitting him well in line maybe with the middle and off. It's come a long way, and Suramachi deciding that it's going to continue to do that and go down the leg side. Also a little bit high.
Ball, Ali.
No ball called. Pollock gets onto it, and 4. 13 to win.
On the boundary behind square.
No ball, that'll be 2 to the total. No ball and the single. One down to third man. Cullis wants second. That wasn't great cricket. I reckon he could have run out either batsman at either end if the throw had been anything like right. As it is, scores level.
Yes, Pollock is a little naughty here. He saunters through for the first one, and Lewis, seeing that, throws at the bowler's end, but everyone has just gone to sleep a little bit. No one taking the stumps.
One to win.
And all the crowds who've been hovering in the back of the dressing room are now coming out onto the players' balcony to see the final single.
Five on the offside, 4 on the leg. Another ball come onto the ground. How's he going to play it? Is it going to be a nudge or is it going to be a hit? It's hit a full toss. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was 4. Then I thought it was just none. As it is, he's turned a full toss straight to backward square leg, and Pollock departs with the scores level.
Well,
Ambrose. That's it. They'll run away. Eventually 4-4, because some spectator's going to pick it up, and that means that it's 4. So Boucher will be credited with 4 runs.
Kirsten and Bacher not quite getting it right at the top of the order, but with the support of Cullen and Cronje, Cullis played quite beautifully. And although Rhodes and Pollock failed at the bottom end, Cullis was the man who played the innings that really counted today for South Africa, an innings of high class. There are the partnerships, 44 and 66 for wickets 3 and 4. Those are the vital partnerships. Although a slight wobble at the end, by then it was all over. The West Indian bowlers didn't quite find the assistance they needed on this last day to really make a breakthrough. And Walsh 3 for 45 was quite brilliant throughout the match. Ambrose 2 for 42, and these two. And the man of the match, well, it was a close call. Cullis 2 half-centuries, but this man, Shaun Pollock, with his match figures of 9 for 103, including his 100th test wicket, was the man of the match.
And Shaun, a tremendous bowling performance.
Yeah, it's one I'll remember for a while, and hopefully I can take it from then to the next test.
Not only did you get 9 wickets, but it took you to 100 wickets in test cricket.
Yeah, I think it's always special to do it in front of the Wanderers crowd. They was very supportive, and when I was running into bowl, try and get the 100th wicket, the noise was unbelievable. It was really loud, and I was really happy that I managed to get the final wicket.
100 wickets in test match cricket, 1,000 runs. Only Trevor Goddard, as a South African, has done that before.
Yeah, I think that's mainly through the isolation. I think there's a couple of cricketers, I think Mark Proctor and Clive Rice, who could have all got there if they hadn't been unable to play test cricket. So it's nice to get there, but you've got to keep it in perspective too.
Now, the viewers are watching all 9 of your wickets as we talk. Was there any one that was particularly special to you?
I think on the first morning it was special to get a bit of a breakthrough. Clayton Lambert and then came quite hard. And then to get Lara was quite important, because I think he could have had quite a field day on that sort of wicket. He might have made us 12 for quite some time. So that was special. And then obviously the 100th wicket was something that I really enjoyed, because that's got me to my milestone.
Now, those first 3 wickets on the opening morning when the West Indies had won the toss, that sort of set the tone for you, for the whole match, really, for South Africa.
Yeah, as a bowler, it's always nice to get off to a quick start, so to pick up 3 in your first spells does help out with regards to the rest of the match. And it did, and obviously just as Tansy was saying, it wasn't easy to score, so if he kept it in the right areas, he only had a chance, and things went my way.
Your batting, we won't talk about that shot in the first innings, but you must have been very annoyed in getting out the way you did, and it wasn't as though it was a bad shot or anything, but just one run required.
I know, I felt like I hit it pretty sweet, and when I sort of turned around, I couldn't believe it was going close to Chanderpool, and then he latched onto it, so it was a bit unfortunate, but I don't know, hopefully the luck runs with me a bit more on the batting in the test to come.
There was a bit of amusement, of course, because Simo had decided that he would not be needed with one run to go, and he'd taken his clothes off and he was putting his special outfit on, ready to enjoy and celebrate the victory, and he suddenly had to pad up.
Yeah, it's good. You keep the boys honest in the change room. There's no reason why they shouldn't be sweating up there. It's definitely to go to keep them focused on the game, because Uncle Pat does like to pack up a touch early.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the 5 days of Test cricket here from the Wanderers. It really was a fascinating match from ball one when the